the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
How you doing? How you feeling out there, race fans? Back at it once again here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's right, you hear the cars on track. Qualifying already underway for tonight's Indianapolis 300, powered by RaceVerse here tonight. Gonna be 120 laps around this 2.5 mile track. I tell you what, let's jump out there with one of the drivers on track now on his, well, looks like he's done his qualifying attempt. We'll jump out there now with Matt Houston as he is out on his qualifying run. Looks like we've got a few of these drivers already putting down their qualifying laps, so we'll throw up the information over there on the left-hand side for you. How you doing? How you feeling, race fans? So far tonight, looks like we've got about 30 drivers out here trying to take the top spot in this Triple Crown race here at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. My goodness, gonna be a pretty hot and heavy race here tonight. Track temperature up above the 110 degree mark. Last time we checked in on that, weather was sitting about 112 degrees as Matt Houston goes across the stripe. Quick time 39:54. 17 drivers already on their qualifying lap, so we'll jump out there now with the rookie Lewis Woodall as he's on his qualifying attempts out of Defiance Race Team. We'll watch this 59, see what he can get done here tonight. How you doing? How you feeling? As I said already, oh, and contact. Tires looks like coming off of the car. Not quite sure what happened with that one, but yeah, anyways, we'll continue around here watching this 59 machine try to put down his qualifying times. We'll see how he shakes out, see how he goes here. And maybe shutting it down. Sounds like, yes, indeed, shutting the car down already. Going to slot in the 16th spot. We'll jump out there now with Carlos Palermo, driver in the 46 machine. Let's see where Carlos can go on his qualifying attempt here tonight for the Indianapolis 300, powered by RaceVerse. RaceVerse, an esports team and broadcasting network specializing in online racing as well as right here on iRacing. So if you get a chance, you need a spot to get filled, go over there, check out RaceVerse. Big shout out to Matt out of RaceVerse for also putting up that $100 top 5 prize for the top 5 finishers here in this season. So a big tip of the cap from all of the drivers for everything you do, all the continued commitment out of RaceVerse as well as Matt. Big shout out to you, and title sponsor here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Carlos Palermo gonna cross the line, first time lap, 17th on the speed charts. Top of the speed charts right now still, though, provisional pole position belonging to the 66 of Matt Houston out of that RaceVerse Racing Team stable. So strong showing here tonight in their title-sponsored race of this season here in Velocity Online Racing, season number 3, race number 4. We'll get to some of your points standings here in just a little bit as we continue to watch all these drivers put down their time lapse. Carlos Palermo going to cross the line, bring it to a close. Not going to improve his time. Looks like Paul Rodriguez had a bit of a moment there. We'll jump back now with Anthony Concha as he's making his way around the track on his up-to-speed lap. This very well may be his first time lap. 25 drivers already on the speed charts here tonight, and quick time still belongs to Matt Houston, 39:54. Concha gonna begin his first time lap. Good line right there through 1, turns 2, now back down the long back stretch here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. These drivers, when they get, I don't want to necessarily say hooked up, but when they get single file, a long train of cars These things are going to be absolutely pushing the limits of upwards of 230, 240 miles an hour. We'll check in on some miles an hour here in just a few moments as we continue to watch Concha come across the line here, that famous yard of bricks. Going to go 26th on the speed charts. He's going to have to pick up a lot of time if he's going to want to do anything with that leader. Paul Rodriguez, as well as Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Shane Coogan, Victor Santos still yet to put in their time lap after missing last week's race, being a little bit under the weather. The 81 of Christian Aleixo out there once again on the track, slotted in the 22nd starting position. Oscar Gonzalez Nunez with a chance to try to run down Isaac Morris. Morris and Nunez, only two drivers to go to victory lane so far this season. Concha going to cross the line, not improve that 27th spot. So we'll jump to the driver I was talking about right here. Went to victory lane in the opening race of season number 3 at Auto Club Speedway. Sitting second in the points coming into tonight's race, and he's going to have to pick up the pace. He's going to have a very good race here tonight because Isaac Morris, your points leader, sitting in the 3rd spot right here in qualifying with just about 2 minutes remaining. We've only got 2 drivers left out there on track, driver on screen, as well as the 29 of Shane Coogan. Oscar Fredrickson and Gavin Sanders, good qualifying out of both of those machines. 7th and 8th on the speed charts. Nunez gonna cross the line. Where's he go? First time lap, good enough for 25th. We'll check in here with Coogan as he makes his way off of 3, back around 4 right here. All right, that's actually off of 2. A little bit crossed up on the markers there, but Gonzalez right there behind him. First time lap out of Nico Racing Team. Nunez trying to get back to victory lane. Once again, has had some pretty good finishes here in all 3 of the races. Finds himself sitting second in the point standings. Nunez gonna cross the line. Let's see where he improves to here tonight. And Nunez not going to improve at all. He's going to stay right there, 26th on the speed charts. Shane Coogan crosses the line, 7th on the speed chart with his first time lap. And with only about 1 minute remaining here in this 10-minute qualifying session, we're going to get set to head trackside for the national anthem. So do join me while we send these racers off with the national anthem coming across the line. Second time lap for Coogan. Where's he go? Can he improve? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. So as we break away for just a brief commercial break, don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
with the jets flying over, the cars have hit the starting grid for tonight. Indianapolis 300 powered by RaceVerse as they roll off the line. We'll run down tonight's starting order for your Indy 300 powered by RaceVerse. There you see it. Matt Houston starting inside row number 1. Oscar Gonzalez going to line up just to his outside. Isaac Morris in the 3rd spot. 4th place belongs to Nick DeGroot. Alex Van de Sant going to line up in the 5th spot. Julian Altena right there in 6th. 7th place, Shane Coogan. The 12 of Oscar Fredrickson will line up in the 8th spot, lining up inside row number 5, the 90 of Gavin Sanders. Christopher Kresge will round out your top 10, starting inside row number 6, the 74 of Dave Stedman, followed by the 41 of Tyler Coogan. Inside row number 7, Robert Sadler and Christian Jasper. Craig Forsyth and Dakota Damage will round up row number 8. Row number 9, the 18 of Thomas Gessler in the 46 of Carlos Palermo, Lewis Woodall, and Hugo Okason making up row number 10. The 22 of Michael Jeffries and Diego Pereiro lining in row number 11. Row number 12 here tonight, Christian Alejo with John Christensen. There's the rest of your field here tonight as we get set to go green flag racing for the first time here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thank you for joining us. Here we go. Pace car down and away. Field in the hands of your pole sitter, Matt Houston, out of that RaceVerse Racing Team stable on the gas, and green flag flies for the first time here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Houston off to a good jump already. And already a caution on the raceway. Trying to look to see if we can't go back, see what happened here. Have a little bit of issues going on. Trying to get that sorted out, figured out as well. Looks like Tony Patty and Victor Santos, Lewis Woodall also involved in this incident here. So multiple drivers caught up in this very early incident, and that's going to bring us to a crawl here tonight very early at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Field going to have to come around the track, catch up to that Ford Mustang pace car. And we'll just have to see how bad it is for some of these drivers out here tonight. A few of them look like they may be out of tonight's race after that early contact there on lap number 1 here tonight in the Indianapolis 300, sponsored by RaceVerse. Long, slow crawl around this 2.5 mile. I'm not sure if you can really classify this an oval or not. Pretty close to being an oval, though, as we ride with your pole sitter here tonight, Matt Houston, out of that RaceVerse Racing Team stable of drivers. And I'm telling you what, man, He is pretty quick on that throttle. Took off, had a good gap already as the field worked their way around turns 1 and 2 and starting down the backstretch. That's where that problem was. That's where the issues were for a few of the drivers out there. And that is what has put us under caution for the first time here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Looks like still having a little bit of technical issues. We'll try to continue to work on those in the background as the field comes back behind this Ford Mustang pace car. Lights have gone out. That means we'll get back to the green flag action here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 300. Powered by RaceVerse. RaceVerse, an esports team and broadcasting network specializing in online sim racing on iRacing.com. Looking to find somewhere to get your stuff out there? Head on over to RaceVerse. Long train of cars here, over 30 IndyCar drivers trying to take that top spot away, trying to put their name in the winners column. Nobody has anything for the man that took that pole position away. Had the pole by about a tenth and a half, and that is quite a bit of distance here in one of these Indy cars. And we'll wait to see how the field goes here as we come back to the green flag. Pace car gonna duck off. We'll get fired off one more time here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy 300. Powered by RaceVerse. On the gas, green flag back in the air. Your race leader begins to step away already. There you see drivers making their way to pit road. Drivers on pit road having some issues. You can see it right there. Struggling at the back of the field. Drivers trying to maintain the pace, trying to keep with the race leaders. Will continue to head up through some of the field here tonight. And a big caution, big wreck off of turn number 2. Oh my, that's going to catch a lot more of these drivers out. Looks like Gary Gotso, Hugo Okason also involved in this one. Looks like Victor Santos, Anthony Concha, Tony Patty already being scored out of tonight's race. Big time issue for a couple of drivers already. 4 drivers back behind that pit wall. So Indianapolis Motor Speedway claiming multiple victims here very early in the going. We do want to thank and appreciate each and every one of you sticking it out with us here tonight, continuing to try to work through some of these technical issues, some of these bugs out there. You know, iRacing having some issues earlier in the day, getting the 24-hour of Daytona kicked off, so servers having some issues here today, but we'll continue to soldier on. Field looks like they're all going to stay out on track. Just a few drivers going to trickle into pit road towards the back of this field. Your pole sitter sitting right there behind that Ford Mustang pace car as we find ourselves under the second caution of the evening. And while we find ourselves some time, why don't we go ahead and run down some of your championship information coming into tonight's race. And oh my goodness, things popping up, things doing some weird stuff over here. We'll try to get the gremlins and bugs all fixed and worked out. As we were saying, though, let's see if we can't run down your championship standings coming into tonight's race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, race number 4 in season number 3 for Velocity Online Racing. These drivers have put on a show week in and week out. 3 races into it, we've already had 1 road course race out there in the season. Your drivers having to navigate their way not just on the ovals but also on the road courses so far this season, and we'll see if we can't get that championship standings to work for you. There you go, coming into tonight's race. There you see Isaac Morris has a comfortable lead over Luis Gonzalez Nunez, sitting in the second spot. Oscar Fredrickson in third. Your pole sitter, your race leader here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Matt Houston, sitting right there fourth in the points with 82, just 1 point in front of Maxi Stang. Julian Altona right there in the sixth spot. Nick DeGroot, Dakota Damage, Jamie Jackins in. Thomas Gessler, Gavin Sanders, Gary Godso, Christopher Kresge, and Dave Stedman round out your top 15 in the points. Starts to get a little bit stretched out after that. Oscar Gonzalez having a solid run here tonight. And as you can see, he is well outside of the top 15 with just 41 championship points. He's going to need a good solid finish here tonight if he's going to want to make his way up through the point standings tonight, being race number 4 out of the 9 races in this championship season. So if you've had a few bad races, now is the time to turn your season around. You have got to have some solid, consistent finishes, and you've got to start it right here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Set yourself up for a good last 5 races of the season. If it goes bad here, it could just continue to trickle on down through the next few races. So multiple drivers looking to turn around their season right here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and a lot of drivers looking to continue their dominance towards the front of not only the field week to week, but also those point standings. Your pole sitter for tonight, Matt Houston, out of that RaceVerse racing team, sitting right there behind that Ford Mustang pace car, ready to duck off this time by. We'll get set to go back green flag racing one more time into the restart zone, and green flag flies once again here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Field fanning out towards the back of the field. It looks like that was the 46 of Carlos Palermo as the front of the field stretches itself out just a little bit. We'll jump back here to a little bit more of the battle zone, the hot zone, if you will. You see drivers side by side trying to make passes. Robert Sadler, Thomas Gessler right there, Carlos Palermo, Dakota Damage sitting right there in the 17th spot. So battles all over this raceway, not just at the front of the field, now looking over the top of the driver inside of that 18 Dallara IR18. Thomas Gessler right there on the trail of Robert Sadler, 15th spot on track. Looks like just gremlins every now and again. We'll continue to try to work through them, try to work it all out for you as we continue to watch this battle for a spot inside the top 15. Thomas Gessler has the 15th spot, Sadler up in 14th, and Gessler's all over him. Back at the front of the field, we'll check in with your race leader. There you can see Matt Houston still leading. Isaac Morris has Oscar Gonzalez right there in third. Nick DeGroot, Julian Altena in tow. Alex Van de Sant over there at the Daytona 24-hour earlier today, jumping in the Dallara IR18, so the jet mileage going up, getting those frequent flyer miles very early in the racing season. Van de Sant hopping jets, man. I'm telling you, getting the job done. What a heck of a job out there at Daytona earlier here today, and he continues a strong run in the 6th spot, knocking on the door of a top 5, just 0.3 of a second off of Julian Altena. Gonna jump back a little further in the field. Here you can see a battle going on between Craig Forsyth, Tyler Coogan, just in front of him. Coogan trying to keep that 41 machine in the 12th spot. And Forsyth looking to make up a little ground, looking to make up a couple spots very early in tonight's race after we've had 2 very early cautions. Field looking to settle in, settle down, and make a few laps here tonight. Started with 31 drivers on the starting grid, and we are already down to just 26 drivers on track with just 24 left on the lead lap. Trying to slowly work things back in, see if we've got all of these bugs fixed. You can see some blinks here and there still happening. We'll try to keep them minimized as best as we can. Still trying to give you all the information on screen that we can possibly provide. Your race leader, the 66 of Matt Houston, was your pole sitter here tonight, and he continues that fast run at the front of the field. Lap number 13 now underway, and Houston continues to lead tonight's Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. All these cars beginning to separate themselves just a little bit. Small gaps beginning to develop, 0.2 to about 0.4 between all of these drivers. Dirty air coming into play, and Houston flirting with that outside wall coming off the corner exit. Very close there, coming off of the corner of turn number 3. Very close on corner number 4. And he's got Isaac Morris, your points leader, sitting right behind him, chomping at the bits. There you see a little bit of that dirty air pushing Morris up the track, almost into that outside wall. We continue this green flag run now after 2 very early cautions in tonight's Indy 300, sponsored by RaceVerse here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thank you all for joining us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Man, oh man, I tell you what, already very close battles all over this track. You've got Julian Altena, he's battling with Alex Van de Sant. We'll jump back, take a look at this little battle here, because Altena sandwiched right in between Nick DeGroot and Alex Van de Sant right behind him. Oh, big time moment. Van de Sant almost in to that outside wall. Big time moment there for that 17 machine. Looking through all of the timing and scoring, looks like all of the field are pretty much single file right now. Most of the field all within a few tenths of each other, all the way down through about It looks like you got to go all the way to about the 20th spot on track before you start to see that bigger gap develop. Luis Gonzalez Nunez has a 2-second gap over Michael Jeffries, who has another 2-second gap over Marcus Hudson, running in the 22nd spot as we ride with Julian Altena inside that one machine. Back trackside with him now as we've got another spike. We'll try to correct that. There you go. Back around the 10th spot battle right now on the raceway. And it looks like caution flag coming out. Caution on the raceway. Diego Pereira with a crash on the track. We'll jump back here, see if we can't see what happened with Perino. Oh, and Perino just smacks that inside wall hard after the contact with the outside wall, pancaking the right side. There you see the nose cone tore off the front end of that Dallara IR18. That is more than likely going to put an end to the night for the driver in that 30 machine. We'll go back live up front with your race leader, Matt Houston, as he continues around the track back behind the Ford Mustang pace car field, back under caution for the third time here tonight. And will we see these race leaders come to pit road this time, go ahead and snatch those tires, get a little bit more fuel in that fuel cell? Gonna have to make multiple pit stops here tonight. Not gonna be able to make it from this point on. So will anybody change the strategy? Will anybody give up the track position? And watching your race leader, seeing who does what. Looks like they're gonna come. Altena looked like he was gonna stay out. Van de Sant gonna try to stay out. No, he's gonna come to pit road. Drivers waiting to the last moment to come to pit road. And it does indeed look like the majority of the field gonna come to pit road. Dakota Damage, only driver not gonna come to pit road. Carlos Palermo also staying out on the track. So a few drivers gonna elect to stay out on track. Your top 4 drivers all staying out right now. Rest of the field all coming to pit road. So while we find ourselves under caution once again, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. field back under green as we get back trackside here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it looks like caution flag has come out once again. Just as we get back trackside, Paul Rodriguez with Craig Forsyth having some trouble. Both of those drivers caught up in this latest incident here tonight. Trying to see anybody else involved in this one. Looks like no, just Oscar Fredrickson, Paul Rodriguez involved in this latest incident. Our fourth caution of the evening here in the Indy 300, sponsored by RaceVerse. RaceVerse, an esports team and fellow broadcasting network specializing in online sim racing here on iRacing.com. Needing to fill a spot, needing to get something done or covered, head on over and check out RaceVerse. Speaking of RaceVerse, gotta give a big shout out to not just your title sponsor for tonight's race, your $100 top prize sponsor in the season as well. RaceVerse sponsoring the top 5 in points with $100 payout to those top drivers. Big hats off and a tip of the cap from not just myself, but from all of the drivers out here on track for their very own. Matt Houston getting the job done from all his commitment just behind the wheel and behind the scenes over there at RaceVerse, as well as right here on track. Big thank you from all the drivers for your continued commitment to this league in series, and for all that you do. So, Matt, big time thank you from all of the drivers here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy 300. Powered by RaceVerse, 120 laps scheduled in tonight's official race distance. We have clicked off right at about the 20 laps into tonight's Indy 300. Few cautions have slowed things down here periodically throughout the night, but we continue to soldier on, still having a few of those issues here tonight. And there you see graphic indicating just 2 cautions, but with the restart of an overlay and things of that nature, sometimes you end up a little bit off on the counts for cautions so far here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Field continues pacing behind that Ford Mustang pace car. Carlos Palermo, Dakota DeMage, as well as Matt Houston up there at the front of the field. Dakota DeMage and Palermo, both of those drivers, I say all of the drivers, but both of those drivers staying out under this latest caution. They're going to gain 17 and 14 spots on the track, but they're going to have the drivers that were at the front of the field lining up just behind them. Third place, Matt Houston, Isaac Morris right there in fourth. Fresh tires. These drivers, I'm telling you what, they are going to be very, very fast. And DeMage and Palermo, they're gonna have to pick which line they run very wisely, because these drivers are going to be able to close up through the corners as well as down these straightaways with a big run in the slipstream. Going to be able to get there and utilize those fresher tires on the corner entry as well as the center and off through turns 1 and turns 3. That's where these fresh tires are really going to show here on this initial restart when the drivers make their way into turn 1. Those fresher tires back there, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th on back, are going to have a little bit more grip. They're going to be able to slide through that corner a little bit easier and look for them to be all over the drivers at the front. Your new race leader, the 46 of Carlos Palermo, will lead the field back to the green flag as the Ford Mustang pace car gets ready to duck on off field, making their way into turn number 4. And we'll be set to fire things off one more time here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A little bit of house cleaning before we go green flag racing. 31 drivers started. We've still got 24 on track. 21 on the lead lap. Your race leader ready to hit that loud pedal, ready to smash the gas, waiting for it. Now on the gas and up through the gears. Carlos Palermo gets a good restart here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dakota Damage sitting right there in second. Look at this fanning out battle going on back here. Look at this. Drivers all over Oscar Fredrickson, Marcus Houston, as well as Alex Van de Sant, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, all battling back here through the field. We'll jump back up front here in just a moment, looking as all this action gets sorted out back at the front, though. Carlos Palermo has been run back down by Dakota Damage, and surprisingly able to keep themselves in front of Matt Houston as well as Isaac Morris. They continue to have that about half-second gap, snaking their way down the front stretch, crossing that famous yard of bricks. Now looking to the outside. The 82 look to go to the outside, hanging it strong. Now back to the bottom, looking for any way around Carlos Palermo that he can. A little bit of dirty air, going to get that car a little out of shape. Going to stay right there in the slipstream right behind Palermo. Very close battle here at the front of the field for that top spot as we go overhead on board here with the driver sitting inside that 82 machine. Dakota Damage right there behind your race leader, Carlos Palermo. He's got your top 3 all in tow. Top 4 all within 1 second of each other. Oscar Gonzalez just a half a second back from Isaac Morris, but almost a second and a half behind your race leader. And look at what the clean air is doing for these two drivers, staying out on much older tires, but yet they're able to keep the field at bay. Now battling side by side with each other off of turn number 3 into turn 4. Now inside lane. Carlos Palermo out on that outside, trying to make the power move. Damage trying to squeeze play just a little bit down the front stretch here. Not going to happen, not going to work out. Palermo going to dive back into turn 1 with the race lead still in hand. Matt Houston not really able to gain any. He's stayed about 2/10 off of the back end of Damage and just hasn't been able to close that gap anymore. And there you see Dakota ducking out once again, trying to get some clean air on the nose of that Dallara IR18, trying to make the pass, trying to make it work on the high side. Hot and heavy action right here at the front of the field. Hot and heavy battle back around the 13th and 14th spot as well. Dave Stedman has Robert Sadler and Tyler Coogan right there battling for position, as the top spot still hotly contested. Dakota Damage on the outside trying to make that high side work, but that inside lane is just the place to be. He'll pull back behind Palermo down the back stretch, try to grab a little bit of a slipstream, try to slingshot if he can, and it looks like he may have the advantage here. Nope, the inside lane gonna come back. Palermo keeping that machine wound up on that inside. Here comes a block, big slide across the nose. Damage right across the nose of Palermo. Battle calming down just a little bit here tonight. Your top 2 drivers still running nose to tail. Carlos Palermo leading the race still after not taking tires under our latest caution himself, as well as Dakota Damage stayed out, elected to take the track position, and it seems to have been the right call. These two drivers able to keep your pole sitter behind them. Matt Houston stepped off to an early race lead, but now stuck behind the traffic. Very hard to get the car to get where it needs to go to put down those fast times. Your race leader last time by 41.47. Damage with a 41.65. Houston sitting back there in third with a 41.25. Fastest on track last time by was the driver in the fourth spot. There you can see him. That's 63 of Isaac Morse with a 41.15 last time by. The drivers beginning to settle in, gaps beginning to develop between a few of the drivers on track. We'll jump back here with a battle. Oscar Gonzalez trying to make up some ground on Isaac Morris. Morris sitting right there in the fourth spot. There you can see that bright yellow 89 machine piloted by Nick DeGroot sitting in the sixth spot. DeGroot trying to get up there and take a spot away in the top five. Julian Altona right behind him. Shane Coogan, Craig Forsyth, Gavin Sanders rounds out your top 10. Continuing around the speedway after staying out under our latest caution, Carlos Palermo, your race leader, has done exactly what needed to be done. Get off to a great restart and just keep himself right there in that clean air. Driver struggling to get around. Dakota Damage has had speed, has been there a few occasions, but not able to pull the pass off. As we go on board with your race leader, Palermo, coming off of turn 4, now back down the front stretch. And as I said, that clean air is just king here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, here in the Indy 300, sponsored by RaceVerse. Looking through the field, still have a few battles out there that we can speak of. There you can see just behind Oscar Gonzalez, Julian Altona still trying to track down Nick DeGroot. Shane Coogan right behind him, 3/10 in front of Altona to DeGroot. About 6/10 back to Shane Coogan. Another battle on track right here for that final spot inside a top 10. Thomas Gessler closing in on Gavin Sanders. Looks like a few of the issues popping back up here and there. We'll continue to try to soldier on. Lap number 37 out of the 120 scheduled here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Drivers still out there battling for positions all over the speedway. At the front of the field, there you see Dakota Damage still trying to make his way up and around your race leader, Palermo. but Palermo has done a good job keeping the field behind him. And Palermo going to break off and come to pit road. After not taking a pit stop under that last caution, Dakota Dimage gonna break away, come to pit road under green flag conditions. That is going to hurt. I can guarantee you that. He is going to be well behind a lot of these drivers on track now. Shouldn't go a lap down pitting from that top spot, but still gonna give up a ton of track time for this to work out for him. He's going to have to get a long green flag run. He's going to have to get these other drivers to have to come back down pit road once again. So we'll see how the field goes at it. Dakota Dimage now going to come to pit road this time by. That will put the lead back in the hands of that man at the front, your pole sitter here tonight for the Indy 300, Matt Houston. Houston continuing to lead Morris by 0.6 of a second. Oscar Gonzalez sitting back 1 second from your race leader, rounding out your top three spots on track. Nick DeGroot sitting in fourth. Julian Altina running in the fifth position. Shane Coogan right there in sixth. Craig Forsyth now in seventh. Thomas Gessler up in eighth. Gavin Sanders in the ninth spot. Now rounding out your top 10, the 74 of Dave Stedman. Gonna go back to this battle as it continues to rage on. Robert Sadler right there knocking on the door of a top 10, trying to make his way by the man on screen, the focus Dave Stedman, because Stedman, he is right there all over Gavin Sanders as well. As we continue this long green flag run here tonight, do want to take a brief moment to run down a little bit of house cleaning. We started tonight's race with 31 drivers on the starting grid. We have still got 24 drivers on the racetrack, 21 left on the lead lap after making a green flag pit stop. Carlos Palermo and Dakota Dimage, last two drivers on the lead lap and just in front of your race leader, Matt Houston. We'll check in with Houston as you'll see him come around the corner, and you'll be able to see him look, well, maybe a little too small for the eyes to see right now, but Dakota Dimage, 36 seconds behind your race leader. That is running a 41.56. So just about 5 seconds in front of your race leader, Matt Houston, is Dimage and Palermo. So those drivers, they have got to hope and pray that this thing goes for a long green flag run, that the rest of these drivers are going to have to hit pit road as well. A couple of different fuel strategies out there as Christian Jasper comes to pit road. Christian Alessio comes to pit road as well. We've had a few drivers come in On lap number 22, Alex Van de Sant as well as Luis Gonzalez Nunes, Marcus Hudson onto pit road right at that point in time, as well as Oscar Fredrickson. So we've got drivers in about 10 laps ago. We've got drivers in about 6 laps ago. So a little bit of different strategy going on out here. So the fuel mileage and the tire game already underway here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. We'll continue to stay right here with this battle at the front of the field. Matt Houston continues to lead Isaac Morris around the speedway. Still 1 and 2 the way they started tonight's race. Back overhead with your race leader as he continues to put down fast laps, continuing to keep the field behind him. More drivers to pit road this time by Dave Stedman comes to pit road. Looks like Concha and Patty also to pit road. Looks like those drivers may have had a little bit of an incident because both of them very quickly to pit road, hitting the escape button. So looks like they may be towing for just a little while. That's going to put them well behind the field here tonight. As your race leader, Matt Houston, continues to lead Isaac Morris, Oscar Gonzalez sitting in third. Nick DeGroot and Julian Altina round out your top 5. Great shots all over the raceway. Tell you what, race fans, let's go high above trackside with one of our Turn 3 drone cams here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There you see the operators working high above this fence line, high above the stands, giving you a bird's eye view of these drivers making their way around this 2.5 mile infamous, well-known, historic track, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So far here tonight, the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. Only 4 cautions, I do believe, so far here tonight. Drivers on a long green flag run right now, still underway. Dakota DeMage, Carlos Palermo, all to pit road, just about on lap 38. Dave Stedman, Christian Jasper, Christian Alesio to pit road just moments ago. Your race leader continues to stay out as we've got more drivers breaking away to pit road. Drivers inside that top 5. Oscar Gonzalez as well as Julian Altina both breaking away, coming to pit road. So that's got to mean drivers at the front. Your pole sitter, your race leader, Matt Houston, he's going to have to come to pit road pretty soon here as he makes his way by the back marker. Oscar Fredrickson now going to fall down 1 lap off the pace here tonight. There you can see Isaac Morris. He's going to make his way by as well. Another great camera here tonight, the Fan Cam, bringing you some great shots from trackside here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There you see multiple drivers back to pit road. Gavin Sanders as well as Robert Sadler, they're going to break off, come to pit road. You've got drivers making their way off of pit road as well. This is going to be a big mix at the front of the field. You're going to see drivers with some fresh tires. You're going to see drivers with old tires. Speeds all over the place right now. Looks like Matt Houston running upwards of the 220 miles an hour mark. As Nick DeGroot, he comes to pit road. Sadler and Sanders exit pit road. Thomas Gessler gonna come to pit road this time by give up that 6th spot. Alex Van de Sant now gonna pop into 6th and up to 5th. Keeping our eye on that pit road, trying to make sure everybody's on and off pit road cleanly. Looks like most of the drivers have been able to do so, and this is what the man right here, Carlos Palermo, that is exactly what he was wanting. It was exactly what he was needing. That was a long green flag run that had the rest of this field take those green flag pit stops just the way that himself and Dakota DiMaggio running right behind him did. Both of those drivers now back up inside the top 10. Drivers continue to make their way around the track here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Battle at the front of the field. Alex Van de Sant takes the top spot away as Shane Coogan as well as Tyler Coogan, both of those drivers to pit road. Houston and DiMaggio also coming down pit road last time by. We continue this long green flag run here. Field mixed up all over the track with this green flag run. Carlos Palermo now back up inside the top 5, sitting in the 3rd spot. He's got Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who's breaking to pit road this time by. Alex Van de Sant right there leading this field after staying out for quite some time. Oh, and looks like into that outside wall a little bit. Contact for Van de Sant. That's going to spell trouble. Van de Sant gonna fall off the pace just a little bit. That's not gonna be good. Looks like the car still handling pretty well. Speed still in that car, so he's gonna stay out. No, gonna break down to pit road this time by. That will put this man right here back in front of the field. Once he makes his way back around the pit area, Carlos Palermo gonna reassume that race lead, but Matt Houston, he has made up some ground. He has made up some time, able to leapfrog Dakota DiMaggio. DiMaggio now back, sitting in the 4th spot, just in front of Isaac Morris. Battle at the front of the field. 1.5 seconds separate your top 3 drivers. Palermo leads Houston. Houston leads DiMaggio. Moore's right there, hot on the trail, just a half a second back from DiMaggio. Nick DeGroot just 4/10 back of Morris. So we've got ourselves a healthy battle here going on about halfway through tonight's race here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. Looks like still having a few issues with some of the overlay, so we'll try to reset, reload, see if we can't get that going back on screen for you once again here. Race fans, do appreciate each and every one of you sticking it out, staying with us here, soldiering on here tonight just like these drivers do. And if you haven't already, go ahead and throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, smash the bell over there on the right-hand side, get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside, Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you tune in, whether you're just stopping by, the devoted friend, family, or fan. We appreciate each and every one of you, and while you're there, just go ahead and smack that thumbs up. Field starting to bring itself back together. We've got some tighter gaps beginning to develop. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all starting to pack themselves back in with each other. Morris, DeGroot, Gonzalez, Altena, and Coogan all within a few tenths of each other, just a few car lengths as we continue this long green flag run here tonight. There you see it just at the halfway point here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Carlos Palermo, the rookie, continues to lead. Your pole sitter, Matt Houston, sitting right there in the 2nd spot. As a few drivers still sitting on pit road. Looks like that's Anthony Concha and Tony Patty still down there trying to get their Dallara IR18 machines fixed up and headed back on track. Gonna try to get all they can out of tonight. Gonna be a tall task at hand, being multiple laps down, as we have found ourselves settling in to a long green flag run here tonight, upwards of about the 30 to 40 lap mark on this green flag stint so far, as we'll cross the line to be halfway in tonight's Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. RaceVerse is an esports team and fellow broadcasting network specializing in online sim racing, just like here on iRacing.com. So if you're looking for somebody to cover your show, looking to find somebody to take up a spot for you, head on over to RaceVerse. Big time shout out to Matt Houston over there at RaceVerse and on that RaceVerse racing team. Houston putting up the prize pool for season number 3 in Velocity Online Racing. $100 prize pool to the top 5 drivers finishing in the points here this season. So from all the drivers, a big thank you and shout out to the driver sitting behind the wheel of that 66, Matt Houston. Field continuing to click off the laps very quick at the front of this field. Multiple drivers up there knocking on the door of 230 miles an hour, and we do apologize about some of the laps and things of that nature not matching up, sometimes having to do away with some of the overlay resetting itself at times. But there you see once again over there on the left hand side of your screen your running order for tonight's Indy 300 right here in Velocity Online Racing season number 3, race number 4 here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. Carlos Palermo continues to lead. Matt Houston, Dakota Dimash right there still running in a solid 3rd place, has Isaac Morris right behind him. Nick DeGroot just 4 tenths back of Morris, rounding out your top 5. Very close battles a little further back through the field. We'll take a look at this one as Alex Van de Sande, he is closed in on Robert Sadler, trying to take that spot away. That's the 11th spot on track. Thomas Gessler sitting just off in front of them in the final spot inside the top 10, and Gessler's got a little bit of a cushion right at about a 6-second gap back to Sadler. So if Van de Sande's going to want to make his way up inside the top 10, he's going to have to do away with Sadler rather quickly and then set his sights in on Gessler. Small battle still raging all over this track. Dave Stedman looking to take a spot away from Michael Jeffries as Jeffries and Stedman have a moment. Stedman, big time moment for Stedman. Let's take a look back here. Contact with that outside wall, breaking the right front tire, and that's going to put Stedman off the track, off the pace. We'll head back up front with your race leader, Carlos Palermo as he continues to have Matt Houston hounding him just a half a second back. There you see your pole sitter, the fast Houston, looking to head back to that top spot. Continuing this long stretch of green flag, Carlos Palermo has made that gamble pay off, stayed out under our last caution, elected to stay out, not come to pit road. A handful of laps after the green flag flew himself, as well as Dakota DiMaggio sitting back in the third spot now. Both of those drivers made early green flag pit stops. They waited for it to cycle through, and there you see Palermo back to pit road once again. I was going to say, going to be very soon before he hits pit road once again. And then he'll have to make at least one more stop here tonight. So all of these drivers having to make a handful of stops to get to the end of tonight's race. Just now closing in on the 70-lap mark here out of the 120 scheduled in the official race distance. And after early issues here tonight, this field has settled down, and settled into a very long green flag run now under our second cycle of green flag pit stops. Matt Houston leads Dakota DiMaggio. DiMaggio gonna have to come to pit road here very soon as well, looking to stretch his fuel just a lap or two further than what he did on that last stint. Try to see if he can't gain a little bit more ground on Palermo, as Palermo has come back off of pit road just a very short time on and off pit road. 39.13 seconds to get on and off pit road, full service and all. So that's going to set the bar for the field for this round of green flag pit stops. Palermo coming to pit road back on lap 67, just a handful of laps ago. Bigger gaps beginning to develop through the field, so I tell you what, let's take a look around the track. Let's focus in with a few drivers out there as they run your race leader sitting at the front of this field. The 66, your pole sitter, Matt Houston. Driver running right there on screen in the second spot, Dakota DiMaggio, has been running up front for quite some time after a pit strategy, and DiMaggio gonna break away, come to pit road, give up that spot inside the top 5, and he's gonna drop well outside the top 10. So now up into that second position, Isaac Morris now puts his 63 right back where he was. Nick DeGroot gonna sit right behind him. DeGroot up one spot from where he started tonight's race, and biggest I don't want to say that, well, dropping the most out of your top 5 down 2 positions from where he started tonight's race. Driver on screen, Oscar Gonzalez. Gonzalez inside that 11, Dallara IR18 back now running in the 4th spot. Back in the 5th, last driver inside the top 5, running in that number 1 Velocity Online Racing sponsored Dallara IR18. Julian Altenut continuing his trek up through the field. Can he get inside those top 3 spots? Can he snatch away a podium spot? Still a very long way to go here at a very big, very unforgiving track. Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Luis Gonzalez Nunez hitting pit road that time by as well. Oscar Gonzalez gonna hit pit road, bring his 11 machine down for some service. So we've got multiple drivers on different strategies here. Dakota DiMaggio and Carlos Palermo, where they originally were just a lap different on the fuel and tires are now 3 laps difference on those fuel and tires for this run. Will the stretching of that fuel hurt Damage, or will it pay off to have those fresher tires a little bit later in the last few remaining laps here tonight in the Indy 300? Powered by RaceVerse. Back at the front of the field, battle starts to heat up. Isaac Morris right there all over that rear gearbox, trying to take away the spot from your race leader, Matt Houston. Houston trying to keep him at bay, but it is going to be a very tough task to keep this man behind him. We'll take a look back from your race leader. There you see Matt Houston's RaceVerse Apex Sage Coaching, sponsored Dallara IR18. Looking back at Isaac Morris, Nick DeGroot just off in the background in that brightly painted yellow number 89. More drivers to pit road. Julian Altena brings his machine down for service. So very close battle here in these top 3 spots. Top 3 drivers still nose to tail. Isaac Morris is as close as he has ever been here tonight. Will he heat up that teammate just in front of him, or will he be content to sit right there in that second spot and just keep Nick DeGroot back there a little bit further behind him, a little bit off pace with much more dirty air, as these 2 drivers punch a big hole in the air. And the slipstream is beautiful down these straightaways, these very long straightaways, but being in that dirty air through the center of the corners, very, very tough, as you can see right there. Morris keeping the left side of that nose cone and that front wing a little off center, keeping a little bit of clean air on the front end, giving it that downforce, giving it that stability into the turn. And keeping the grip up right there, still running a solid second position, just 0.3 behind Houston. Checking some of the timing and scoring, and it looks like Carlos Palermo has made his way around the 11 of Oscar Gonzalez. Dakota Damage now looking to close the distance, looking to close in on that 14th place driver, Oscar Gonzalez Nunez. We'll take a look back here in just a moment, see what this battle holds. But first, we'll join this battle right here between Robert Sadler, Alex Van de Sant. Battle for the 7th and 8th on track. Tyler Coogan just behind them, about a half a second back, then a big gap back to Gavin Sanders, Michael Jeffries, Marcus Hudson, all still running on track, all yet to make their next green flag pit stop. Nick DeGroot brings his machine to pit road this time by, so look for DeGroot to fall outside of that top 10. And looking at that pit road delta, we set a quick time there by Carlos Palermo, 39.13 seconds on and off pit road. But Oscar Gonzalez 37.58 on and off pit road, so very fast right there, just 8.7 seconds in the pit box for Gonzalez. Almost into that 37-second pit stop was Luis Gonzalez Nunez, 38.03 on and off pit road. We'll continue to watch these pit deltas as we've got Robert Sadler and Michael Jeffries heading to pit road this time by. Back at the front of the field, though, this man Isaac Morris continuing to try to track down your race leader Matt Houston. More drivers to pit road. Thomas Gessler in the 18 machine. He comes to pit road this time by. Van de Sant, Coogan, Sanders, Houston, all going to stay out on track. And just like that, looks like Gavin Sanders going to go ahead and elect to come to pit road this time by. We'll wait to see what Houston does, what Hudson does. I apologize. The 48 of Marcus Hudson running in the 9th spot. What will he do? He'll stay out on track. Third place driver Shane Coogan, he's going to peel off and come to pit road this time by. Pit strategy all over the board at this point in time. Doesn't look like there's too much of a rhyme or reason to it all right now. But it is still pretty early going in the race. Still upwards of 40 laps remaining here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse and Velocity Online Racing. Season number 3, race number 4 underway. We continue this long green flag run, and Matt Houston, your race leader, gonna break away, bring it to pit road. That will put the hands in the field in the hands of your points leader, Isaac Morris. I say in the hands of your race leader, Isaac Morris, because he has been to victory lane 2 times so far this season. Back-to-back race winning weekends. Took the win over in Japan at the Twin Ring Motegi weekend. Last week, he walked away with the Alton Park Grand Prix win. Can he make it a triple? Can he go back to back to back? We'll have to wait and see. Craig Forsyth gonna stay out on track. Take over the race lead here under green flag pit stops. Alex Van de Sant, Tyler Coogan. Both of those drivers gonna stay out on track, and it looks like Carlos Palermo has stepped away from multiple drivers after this latest round of pit stop. Looks like now running in the 4th spot, Palermo, just waiting for your top 3 drivers to come to pit road, and it looks like Craig Forsyth indeed gonna do so. We'll take a look back now with the 17 of Alex Van de Sant, who will inherit the race lead. Coogan gonna come to pit road. Van de Sant gonna stay out, try to stretch it just a little bit further. There you see the gaps, the timing, the intervals between these drivers. Alex Van de Sant staying out on track. Lap number 85 out of the 120 scheduled in the official race distance. Underway down the backstretch, heading into turn number 3. Alex Van de Sant has control over the field, and if we get a caution at this point in time, it is definitely going to mix some things up. Few drivers being caught down a lap right now after their second round of green flag pit stops here tonight from Daytona, or from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Don't know why my mind was in Daytona, but just as famous to racing is Daytona, but not quite as famous, not quite as a cornerstone as this racetrack right here, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the home of racing, really. Doesn't matter what aspect of racing you come from. If somebody says the Indianapolis 500, you know exactly what they're talking about. You know exactly where they're talking about. So this very historic racetrack putting on a very familiar style race, some early troubles, then a long green flag run as we continue this long green flag run here tonight. Alex Van de Sande, after being at the Daytona 24-hour race earlier today down there in Daytona, hopped up on a plane, jumped over here, and now is piloting that Dallara IR18 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, continuing to stay out, continuing to lead the field here tonight. Driver running into that second spot. Carlos Palermo enjoys quite a gap back to the driver behind him. Almost a 1 second advantage back from Palermo to Gonzalez. That will be a battle for the eventual race lead. Once the driver on screen focused in right now, that 17 of Alex Van de Sande. Once he brings his machine to pit road, that will put the lead back into the hands of Carlos Palermo. And just like that, like it's on cue, Van de Sande gonna peel off, come to pit road this time by. That should all but put the lead of tonight's race back in the hands of this man right here on screen. Carlos Palermo pulling some pit road strategy under our last caution, elected to stay out on track, stayed out after the restart of the race about 10 to 15 laps, then brought his IndyCar down to pit road for 4 tires in service, and since has been kind of off sequence with the majority of the field, just himself and Dakota DeMage really on that same tire strategy. Oscar Gonzalez has made a short pit to kind of catch up with this strategy here by Palermo and Gonzalez, and it has looked to pay off so far. Now running in the 4th spot, Nick DeGroot. He's made up some time, made a pass on Julian Altena as well as Isaac Morris. Matt Houston losing the most under this second round of pit stops. He is now scored outside of the top 5, running in the 7th position, just about a second off of Isaac Morris. So giving up a ton of time there during that last pit stop. Looking at timing and scoring, doesn't look like anything really went awry. Just looks like the rest of the drivers picking the pace up just a little bit. And Alex Van de Sande coming back to pit road. Once again, very early stop. Looks like possibly seeing that not having enough fuel to make it to the end. Gonna need one more stop. So DeGroot, go ahead. Fuel window has opened. He's ducked on down. He'll put his Dallara IR18 into the pit box for what very well may be the final stop in tonight's Indianapolis 300. Julian Altena in the 1 machine. He's going to bring his car to pit road this time as well. So multiple drivers now opening up that fuel window. Multiple drivers hitting pit road as soon as that pit window has opened up. There you can see it, lap number 92 out of the 120 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Oscar Gonzalez still sits a half a second back behind your race leader, Carlos Palermo. Dakota DeMage sitting back in 3rd, about 2.7 seconds behind your race leader. So quite a bit of distance to make up, quite a bit of ground still left ahead. A very long green flag run underway here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Velocity Online Racing's season number 3, race number 4, the Indianapolis 300, powered by RaceVerse, has been green flag since about lap number 24 or lap number 25. These drivers have had to make 2 green flag pit cycles already, and now we have begun to see drivers making their 3rd in what very well may be final green flag pit stop of the night. The 11 of Oscar Gonzalez. Gonzalez going to stop from that 2nd spot, drop outside of the top 10 now as Carlos Palermo continues to lead Dakota Damage. Back in the 2nd spot, Isaac Morris running in 3rd. And now Palermo going to come to pit road. Damage, what will he do? Damage going to stay out on track. There's more drivers ducking down to pit road. Matt Houston going to come to pit road this time by. So Houston with an okie doke on the field here. Not going to stay out as long. Going to come back to pit road with Carlos Palermo. Both of those drivers will line back up as they make their way out of the pit boxes and back onto pit road. Both of them clean and clear into their pit boxes. We'll make sure all the pit crews do their job. Looks like good solid stops for Palermo. 9:05 stop for Palermo. Houston with a little bit slower of a stop. 8.53 for Houston. So Houston actually a hair quicker, about a half a second quicker, but he has lost a ton of time getting on and off of pit road. Palermo about a second and a half faster on and off pit road, so equating into about a 1 second difference there as Dakota Damage, the man on screen at the front of the field, continues to stay out on track. 25 laps now remain as your race leader makes his way off of turn number 4. Gonna stay out on track at least one more lap. We've got a few more drivers coming back down pit road. And I tell you what, while we've got a chance, why not run it down for you? We'll run down your top 5, throw you a little bit of driver information as we go through the front of this field. 24 laps remaining. The man on screen right there out of Indiana. Hometown track here. Can he walk away with a hometown win? Driver inside that 82 machine, Dakota Damage, leading the race. Driver sitting back there in the 2nd spot. There you can see him from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Going to be home when we head to the Canadian Grand Prix in just 2 weeks. Craig Forsyth in the 27 machine sitting in the 2nd spot. Driver now in the 3rd spot from Swansea, the 21-year-old 63 Isaac Morris. Breathing right down Morris's neck, man right behind him, Shane Coogan, also from Indianapolis. There you can see him sitting inside one of the cars right there just off to the left-hand side in his profile picture. The 20-year-old Coogan looking to get the job done, sitting in the 4th spot. Driver rounding out your top 5 on track, the 57-year-old Thomas Gessler. It's a little bit of the run down here in the field. Tyler Coogan makes up the 6th spot. Alex Van de Sande in 7th. Robert Sadler, Gavin Sanders in 9th. Christian Jasper will round out your top 10. And how long will this man right here at the front of this field remain out on track? Dakota Damage continues to stay out on track, continues to lead the race by 5.3 seconds over Craig Forsyth. Isaac Morris right there running in the 3rd spot. Shane Coogan still in 4th, and Thomas Gessler still in that 5th spot. But these drivers still yet to come to pit road for what should be the final time here tonight. And now Damage gonna come to pit road. What will Forsyth do? Forsyth gonna stay out on track this time by That's going to put Isaac Morse up now into the second spot. Shane Coogan will take over the final spot on the podium positions, running in the third spot. And what has happened to Carlos Palermo? Scored off of the track. We're gonna try to see if we can't see through the timing and scoring what may have happened. Not seeing anything coming out on the incident report about Palermo, so Palermo must just be having some issues. Now way off the pace, way behind the field after being in a position to possibly walk away with the race win. The 46 of Palermo off the track and behind the wall. And after an early, after an early occurrence of cautions here tonight, we have found ourselves under an extremely long green flag stint from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 18 laps now remaining for the man at the front of the field, Craig Forsyth, yet to come to pit road for the final time. Looks like Isaac Morse going to break away from the track. He's going to hit pit road for the final time. Shane Coogan still sitting in that second spot. Thomas Gessler now running in the third spot. And looking through timing and scoring, I think this very well may fall into the hands. This may just fall into the hands of Gavin Sanders or possibly Oscar Gonzalez. Gonzalez on to pit road last time on lap number 93. As we work our way around the track on lap, I believe now lap 104 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So just about 10 laps ago it was when Oscar Gonzalez came to pit road. Lap 100 is when Dakota DeMage came to pit road. That's a pretty substantial difference on the track. About 0.6 of a second or so separate those two drivers. But how much fuel do these drivers have at the front? Craig Forsyth leading the field right now has a 1.1 race advantage. How much fuel can he save? What fuel map is he running? Is Shane Coogan gonna break off of the track, head to pit road for the final time here tonight as the leader crosses the line? 15 laps now remaining here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thomas Gessler as well as Tyler Coogan, Alex Van de Sande, all going to stay out on track. Robert Sadler also staying out on track, inheriting the last spot inside the top 5. And no pressure, nobody even close to the man at the front of the field, now enjoying a 5.6 second race advantage. And can Forsyth somehow stretch this fuel, somehow stay out there on track, and somehow find a way into victory lane? There you can see your second place runner, Thomas Gessler, just how far behind he is. 5.8 seconds. Very, very big distance on the track. Gavin Sanders going to bring his machine to pit road this time by. More drivers moving up through the field. And after, I'm not sure if it was a bad stop or not, but Matt Houston has to come to pit road once again. So Houston fallen from grace as well, leading a handful of laps here tonight, walking away with the pole position. He finds himself back onto pit road with just 13 laps to go. He'll now be scored off of the lead lap. And as we continue this long green flag run, we'll walk through a little bit of house cleaning here tonight. We had 31 drivers take to the starting grid. We have still got, looks like 17 drivers out on the track, 10 drivers left on the lead lap. $19 drivers still on the track with 10 drivers on the lead lap still. Julian Altena, last car scored on the lead lap. Marcus Hudson being scored the first car off of the lead lap, 1 lap down. As Craig Forsyth continues to lead this race, continues to lead the field, making his way through turn number 4 back to the front stretch. Gonna break to pit road this time by with a 5.8 second race advantage. Forsyth gonna come to pit road. Kessler gonna join him. Tyler Coogan, what will Coogan do? He's gonna stay out on track. Alex Van de Sant also gonna stay out on track. Van de Sant last on to pit road on lap 88. He very well may have enough fuel to make it to the end. Oscar Gonzalez Nunes, first driver that we believe can make it to the end, was last on to pit road on lap number 93. So just 5 laps difference on the fuel and strategy for Gonzalez and Van de Sant. How will it all play out? I tell you what, we'll throw the pit strategy up for you right there. There you see it. The difference in the tires. And how will this all affect these drivers as we close in on the final 10 laps here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Your race leader, Tyler Coogan, keeping Alex Van de Sant at bay. Van de Sant just a half a second off of Coogan as that rookie tries to make a splash here tonight, tries to break into the win column at one of the most famed, one of the most historic, one of the most iconic speedways here in America and all around the world. Indianapolis Motor Speedway looks to possibly put another rookie in victory lane. 9 laps now remaining for that 41 of Tyler Coogan. You gotta wonder what's going through his head right now. Gotta wonder how many different noises, how many vibrations in the tires he's feeling, how comfortable he really is right now inside of that 41 machine. The 17 of Alex Van de Sant right behind him, still giving him a little bit of a fight, still giving him a little bit of trouble right there in those side mirrors, letting him know, I haven't gone anywhere, I'm still right here. You make a mistake and I'm gonna be right on top of you. Oscar Gonzalez, first driver to hit pit road under that last round of green flag pit stops. He's found his way up now into the 3rd and final podium position. Continuing to stay out is Tyler Coogan. Wonder how much fuel he is absolutely saving. There you can see on board just ahead on that halo. Doesn't look or sound like this driver's saving any at all. Sounds like he is just staying right in the gas with about 6.5 laps remaining here. He'll make his way back into turn number 3. Now back off of 3 into turn number 4. He'll set his sights in on the driver in front of him. And oh, looks like he's peeling away to come to pit road. He'll give up the race lead Alex Van de Sande now gonna take control of tonight's race with just 6 laps remaining here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Alex Van de Sande, can he do the unthinkable? Can he go from driving at Daytona International Super Speedway for the Daytona 24-hour race here on iRacing.com, jump in the jet and fly up here to an even more historic track, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and walk away with a race win? Just a handful of laps now remain for Alex Van de Sande. Gonna come across the stripe this time by high five for your race leader. 5 laps remaining for Van de Sande. And looking at that timing and scoring chart, race fans, what did I say about that fuel mileage? Looks like the lap difference from when Alex Van de Sande and Oscar Gonzalez last hit pit road, right at that 5-lap difference. Van de Sande last onto pit road on lap number 88. Gonzalez last on pit road on lap number 93. So will Van de Sande have enough to make it back around this track 4 more times? 2.5 miles around this famed oval track here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And can Van de Sande get the job done here tonight in the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse? Just 7.5 miles left to go in tonight's race. Can Van de Sande keep enough fuel in his machine to make it all the way to the checkered flag? And will he have enough fuel to even celebrate or make his way back around to the front stretch? We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. Nick DeGroot, I believe that is Nick DeGroot, or that may just very well be, trying to see who that is right there with your race leader. Can't quite see the car number, but coming to the line this time by popsicle sticks on display. Race leader now, just 2 laps remaining for Alex Van de Sande to bring it home to victory lane. Big time gap to play with Oscar Gonzalez. You can see it over there on the left-hand side of your screen. Almost 10 seconds back behind your race leader. So Van de Sande gonna put it in cruise control here as he heads into turn number 4, back to the front stretch. 1 lap to go. White flag in hand. Final lap here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse here in Velocity Online Racing Season number 3, race number 4. Van de Sande gonna do the unthinkable, go from the Daytona 24-hour to the Indy 300 and walk away with a race win, barring any catastrophes, into 3 for the final time. Van de Sande still has a 9-second advantage. Into 4, clean and clear, no one around, setting sail, making his way to the checkered flag, getting the job done. Great race strategy by Van de Sande and his entire crew, walking away with the race win here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. RaceVerse, an esports team and fellow broadcasting network specializing in online sim racing right here on iRacing.com. Looking for somebody to cover your event? Need a special type of broadcast? Head on over and check out RaceVerse. And as Alex Van de Sande makes his way back to those famed bricks, we're going to get set to head to a brief commercial break before firing things back up here with your post-race interviews. So as Van de Sande enjoys a little bit of smoke show here, we'll step away from the track for just a brief moment. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. backtrack side once again here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for your post-race show. Here tonight, man, I tell you what, it was one heck of a show here tonight in the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. Let's see if we can't go ahead and grab a quick word or two with the driver that walked away with the top spot, walking away in victory lane. Driver inside of that 17 machine, Alex Van de Zandt. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Hey, my man. You got the job done at 2 tracks all in one day. Down at Daytona for the 24-hour earlier today. Now coming to this historic track and getting the job done. Walking away with the race win, man. Congratulations. How'd the car feel out there for you all race long?
Honestly, not great. So the default iRacing setup needs some work. It makes it really difficult to pass. So I knew track position and strategy were going to play a really big role.
Well, you said strategy was going to play a big role. There towards the end of the race, we had some drivers that really shook up their pit stops, really cut their stints basically in half. How did you and your crew approach the race? Was it as soon as the fuel window opened, or did you guys pretty much stick to what you had in mind the entire race?
So the way the length of this race is, there's the fuel strategy is like really up in the air. There's a bunch of things you can do, and one caution can throw it all out the window. So I had started up front, but on the first caution where everybody pit, I was having frame rate issues. I have triple screen monitors now. So I had to go in settings and disable a bunch of stuff. So I actually dropped to the back there. So later when we had a caution with 100 to go, I realized, okay, green's going to come out with 90, I think it was 96 or 98. Just do 33 lap stints. I knew I could make that number easily. And I was at the back, so I can just top off on fuel and only lose 2 spots. And it just worked out.
Well, that it did. You had yourself quite an advantage to play with the gap and the fuel if you needed to. Walking away with the race win here today with a 9-second advantage still in your back pocket. So not just winning, but winning in fashion. No matter how it be, whether it's fuel mileage or just pure race strategy, man, a 9-second win is definitely a big win in my books, and not just be, think about the track, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, man. I mean, what better place to win an IndyCar race at than the home of IndyCar racing?
Oh yeah, no, this is a good one. I've won a league race here before, so it's always special getting in, and it's my first league win of the year. So it's been a rough start. January's been tough, but glad to finally get something, get a good result in.
Well, Alex, again, congratulations on a great run here tonight. Before we let you go and enjoy the race win, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous? Thank anybody on the side of that 17?
Yeah, a big thank you to Happy Trails Chili Company. It's my grandpa's company. They sell chili mix. So makes it really easy to make awesome chili, as well as elmseagear.com and Jim Herrick. He wasn't able to make it tonight because of the Daytona race, but no, he's been a really big supporter for me. So yeah, thank you to them.
All right, Alex. Well, once again, congratulations on a great race run, and we'll look forward to catching up with you a little bit further through the season.
Thanks, Dave.
There you have it. Few final parting words from the driver that walked away in that top spot. And I tell you what, let's see if we can't catch in a word or two with one of the drivers kind of hanging out. Let's see if we can't grab a word with the driver that walked away in the third and final podium spot here tonight. Let's see if we can't grab a word with the 82 driver, Dakota DeMage. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy? See if we can't get the radio to work Hey, Dakota, it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy? Hey, Dakota, it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy? And well, looks like sometimes we got him. Technology sometimes does work for us. There we go. Dakota DeMage joining us in the booth here for his post-race interview. Dakota, heck of a job out there tonight, walking away in the third spot. Walk us through a little bit of your race and how you ended up in that third position.
Good. It was a good race. I didn't have the best qualifying, so I had to do kind of an altered pit strategy. And, I was kind of hoping for a caution so I could kind of get myself back up to the front the right way, but I ended up going green all the way through, and somehow it worked out. I'm the only Hoosier on the podium, so I'm feeling really good about that. And, oh no, Alex won, and he's also a Hoosier. That's good. 2 Hoosiers on the podium. It was a good race. It was tough.
That's right, representing the hometown very well here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Walk us through your race when you finally realized, well, fuel strategy may just be a part of this thing after all.
It was about lap 70, I think, when we had about a 40-lap green flag run. And once you hit halfway, you just kind of know that it's going to be green for a while because cars are kind of feeding off the track and whatnot. So that was when fuel strategy came in, and coming into that last pit stop, I took just enough fuel to make it to the finish. I ran out on the finish line. So I was surprised it came down to a fuel race, but I'm happy with it. It was tense. My heart rate is still going.
Oh, I can guarantee it, man. Anytime you can come and run well at such an iconic, such a historic, legendary track, a hometown track at that, like Indianapolis Motor Speedway, your heart kind of gets pumping a little bit more for those good finishes. And well, Dakota, congratulations once again on walking away with a fantastic finish here tonight, walking away in the third spot. Before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, anything like that?
Yeah, shout out to Lucas and Alyssa. I know they're watching right now. I just want to let you know that my last name is pronounced DeMade.
DeMade. Okay,
yes,
I got you. I guarantee you I won't mess it up again.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You're not the only one. And shout out to Matt on Team RaceVerse, Isaac, Apex Sage Coaching. They're great partners of mine. Shout out to Sunset Arctic Games and Graphics. I run that company. I have a new product called Echo Blade that was just announced. It's on the Steam store. You can go wish list it now. You can check out my previous games, Voltic Pistol. It'd mean a lot to me if you guys were to go check it out. So, yeah, that's all from me.
All right, Dakota. Well, once again, congratulations on the great finish here today, and we'll look forward to catching up with you a little later on through the season.
Oh, absolutely. This is not my first podium. I'll be back.
Indeed, he will, and I can promise you that. Dakota DeMade getting the job done multiple times already here, just 4 races in to the season, and I can assure you we will see that driver back in a podium finish, in a podium spot before the end of the year. And with that being said, race fans, my goodness, that about does it for things here tonight. Trackside at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 300, powered by RaceVerse. And it looks like producers hitting the buttons in the background. You know what those sounds mean, race fan. It's time to run down tonight's unofficial race results for your Indianapolis 300, powered by RaceVerse. Walking away with that top spot in the race win, the 17 of Alex Van de Sande. The 11 of Oscar Gonzalez. Gonzalez gonna walk away in second, and Dakota DeMade gonna finish in the 80. In the third spot, Inside of that 82 machine, the 89 of Nick DeGroot walking away in fourth, rounding out your top 5 here tonight, the 29 of Shane Coogan. Craig Forsyth gonna walk away in 6th, and 7th goes to Isaac Morris. Thomas Gessler gonna finish tonight's race in 8th. Julian Altina finishing just inside the top 10 in the 9th spot, rounding out your top 10, the 15 of Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Tyler Coogan gonna walk away in 11th. Robert Sadler in the 6th machine gonna finish last car on the lead lap. Christian Jasper walking away in the 13th spot. First car off of the lead lap. Michael Jeffries right there behind him in the 14th spot. The 48 of Marcus Hudson finishing tonight in the 15th spot. Returning to the track after a 1-week layoff, Christian Alesio finishes in the 16th spot. Gavin Sanders gonna walk away in 17th. Victor Santos in the 20 machine gonna finish tonight's race back 2 laps down in the 18th position. 19th goes to Matt Houston out of that RaceVerse Racing stable after walking away with the pole position here tonight. Late race troubles finds him 3 laps down in the 19th position. Christopher Kresge in the 16 gonna finish in the 20th spot. Oscar Fredrickson in 21st. 22nd goes to Carlos Palermo. 23rd, Dave Stedman. Diego Perino finishing his 30 machine in the 24th spot. Paul Rodriguez in the 88 gonna walk away in 25th. Finishing tonight in 26th, Lewis Woodall. John Christensen gonna bring his 44 machine home in the 27th spot. 28th goes to Hugo Akeson. Gary Gotso gonna finish in the 29th spot. The 91 of Tony Patty gonna finish in 30th, and rounding out the field here tonight, the 64 of Anthony Concha. Well, that has it all done. That has it all wrapped up. Not much left to do here tonight, except thank everybody on hand here tonight. Big shout out and thank you to RaceVerse, everybody back there and behind the scenes, especially our main man right here in Velocity Online Racing, Matt Houston. Big shout out to him for sponsoring the $100 prize pool for the top 5 in the points here in Velocity Online Racing season number 3. So big shout out to Matt and everybody else back there at RaceVerse. RaceVerse is an esports team and fellow broadcasting network and company specializing in online racing here on iRacing.com. So if you need something done, you need something covered, head on over there and check out RaceVerse.com. Man, oh man, with all that being said, race fans, not much left to do here except roll the cords up and get ready to go back at it next weekend live here, same time, same place for Velocity Online Racing season number 3. New day, it's a new year. With all that being said, race fans, stay safe, stay loved. Until next time, we'll meet you in turn 3.